I have to put this in context. This Junkyard Dog head was the first attempt I did at metal art. And I've been working on it off and on for about 4 months. Now the joke is, I used totally scrap pieces of metal, but I used between 6 and 8 pounds of flux core wire and probably another 3 or 4 pounds of stick electrodes. So the thing weighs about 30 or 40 pounds. My original idea was I was going to create the skin out of just beads of weld and then shape it, smooth it and shape it out the way I wanted. But because it's already weighs so much, and because I've already got about $80 worth of welding rod and wire sunk in this thing, I figured, well, I'll just use Bondo to do the skin, and I want some of the metal parts sticking out. I want it to be clear that it's a monster dog that was born in the junkyard, right? But anyway, oh Lord, it is funny. The good news is, though, this was really the first thing I tackled after getting back into welding after having last welded something 50 years ago. So, at any rate, I did get a lot of practice welding, both with stick and flux wire. So that's something. So now I'm going to try to mix up some Bondo to make the skin. Unfortunately, they tell you to squeeze the hardener tube to get it mixed up, right? Well, this one burst, so it's right on track for being everything that could go wrong, will go wrong, has gone wrong. And I don't have the ideal setup here. I wasn't really prepared well. I'm using a catalog to mix the stuff on. Duh. I'd have been better off to use cardboard. They say not to use cardboard because it absorbs. But I've used cardboard before successfully, and it works a heck of a lot better than what I'm about to try to do now. So, at any rate, my grandma, who by the way was born in 1886 and saw some really hard times. She was born in Edwardsville, Alabama. Her dad was a Methodist preacher, and sometime after the Civil War was over, they moved to Stone Mountain, Georgia, or that area. I don't know exactly. I'm a little fuzzy on those details. I wish I'd paid more attention to her when she was telling me about it. But at any rate, they settled in what was the left of the path that Sherman plowed through the state of Georgia, meaning that there was very little to support life. So she saw some hard times. My point being is that when she says you might as well laugh as to cry, that was from her own personal experience, I'm sure. So here I'm just trying to find something to stir the blooming putty with. Talking about being prepared. I couldn't have written this script if I'd tried. Oh Lord, I'm letting this play just for the effect. I mean, this is this is good for a laugh or two. I had this big piece of 1/4-inch angle iron I was going to stir it with, but it's too long. So now I've got a piece of 1/2-inch rebar, which is very short. Oh me. Round and round we go. Where we stop, nobody knows. It gets funnier. Hang on. Think of your worst moment in doing a craft or trying to get something done. If you got a funnier one, let me know. Oh, Lord have mercy. And I guess this is really typifies my problem with this project from the get-go. I sort of just followed the technique of an artist that I admire, and his name has escaped me at the moment, but at any rate, in an interview, the person interviewing him asked how he decided what he was going to paint and how he went about it. And he said, well, I put paint on canvas. And he asked him again, phrased a different way, and the reply was, I put paint on canvas. And then the guy says, well, then how do you know when it's finished? He says, when I like it or run out of paint. So, anyway, here I am trying to mix this up out of a leaky tube. Now watch when I try to stir this up with this thin cover on this magazine. It gets funnier and funnier. I think this particular segment I would label, does he have a clue? And the answer is probably no. I've worked with Bondo before, but I think this Junkyard Dog is jinxed. Everything I've done so far with this has just been a disaster. Did I mention the thing weighs 30 or 40 pounds? Ultimately, I want to put it on a thick piece of rebar and drive that into the ground in my flower bed with the face facing between my shrubs, so that passers-by would have to take a second look. I may never get to that point. So anyway, I just want to fill in the holes and create a skin. I'll still have to, as I would have had to have done if I had used welding beads, I'll still have to do a lot of shaping with a burring tool and whatever I can find to get the shape I'm looking for. And one thing I'm realizing, I've used already about 1/3 of a can of Bondo, which I'm buying for about $14 a can. So I'm going to need at least one more can. So anyway, this is going to be the world's most expensive Junkyard Dog. Insert laughs here. Oh me. And because the mixture wasn't too good on the Bondo on the blade had the most hardener, so before I got finished with the project, that was hard, so I've had to figure out how I'm going to get that off my blooming tool. So and the hits just keep on coming. Oh, one thing in that green can over to the right, that's a can of spray-on cooking oil, and I use that a lot to spray the work area to prevent splatter when I'm welding, and it works as good as any of the expensive ones I bought in the beginning, and that can only cost $2. So that you get something out of this video besides the laugh. I just wasn't ready for this. Well, it's not funny anymore. So sad. Yay! Are we having fun yet? Are we there yet? Now for a close-up of the disaster. As you can see, I'm going to need a lot more Bondo. Oh well, you've had your laugh.